Yo, MB, what's up, yo? Chilling, chilling. For the most part, waiting for my insurance company to send me this damn payment so I can get the repairs on my house started. Other than that, I can't complain. I really can't even complain about that. Mm, not really. Shit, COVID-19 still got everything shut down. I ain't got nothing big going on right now. Um, nope. I got another commission coming up, and that's always good. But I just can't wait to shit get back to normal so I can start doing shit again. It's not terrible. I'm not gonna lie. It's not the worst thing for some people. You know, for them parents who got like 3, 4 kids and you got to work at home and your kids at home with you and you got to help with their schoolwork and their homework and all that shit. Now that might be kind of rough. If you lost your job completely and you're having trouble getting your unemployment benefits and shit like that, I can understand that. People not enjoying it. But for some people, ooh Lord, ooh Lord, man, I'm making money hand over fist. You know, yeah. Didn't want to go back to the corporate world after that shit. But you know, sacrifices and whatnot. Unemployment for me was amazing. And my job cut my hours a little bit. And they said, oh, you can file for partial unemployment for the hours you're not making now. I'm like, cool, I'll do that. I've been filing unemployment ever since they told me I could. I've never got anything. PA like, you'll be alright, bro. You're partially unemployed, not fully unemployed. We'll get to you when we get to you. So, you know. But stand the man. Look at they. I feel important now, man. I'm on the big screen. I'm on the little screen. I'm on the in-between screens. That was weird. A number that I don't know. And normally, like these telemarketer numbers, I answer them now and just don't say anything. And then instead of like the whole robot recording comes up, and sometimes that particular marketer or that robot caller won't call back to the number. And so I just did the same thing, like this weird number called, I answered, didn't say anything, and it just like, doo doo. Like, yeah, robot, stop calling my fucking phone, man. It's so weird. It's such the worst ever. So, Stan, after we've all been subjected to this whole global pandemic, national lockdown, COVID-19, self-isolation, quarantine situation. We've all heard from several health officials and doctors and the CDC and World Health Organization and Trump. And we've had, several weeks to kind of digest all this information and come up with our own assessment of what is actually happening. What are your takes on this stuff now, man? Dude, swear to God, I was streaming live on Facebook or Instagram or something right before I started up the PlayStation stream, and I constantly talk about you, bro. Don't really say your name every time, but it's, once again, and I try to tell people, if you look at my Facebook post, I posted about this thing in January the 17th, when there was 1,600 confirmed cases only in China. In China. It came from China. Only in China. They only had 1,600 confirmed cases in China. I was like, what the fuck is this? Posting that shit. Nobody's caring. But even then, my thought is, okay, what if this spreads? What if it is bad? How is this going to affect us economically, politically, and socially? Fuck the virus and getting sick and upper respiratory, acute infection. Man, yeah, I remember, but just week by week, my opinion is growing, and I do think the virus is real. I think the reaction to it is completely exaggerated. You know what I'm saying? Now they're bringing in, a virus, food shortages, killer hornets. What is all? I mean, like, I don't get it, dude. There is something. There is some agenda to hype us up on fear. And once again, like I said, I've said this before. The economic blowback is going to be ridiculous about this thing. Once they started shutting, the first major move they did was they shut down sports. Never in my life have they shut down sports for any fucking war, any kind of virus, any kind of national disaster. They don't shut down sports. The NBA, NFL, motherfucking the Olympics. Right then I knew, like, this shit is going to be different. And so when I talk about this now, it's like, I know a handful of small business owners. Alex, who runs City Center Print. Stan, who owns Scranton Botanical Tea Bar and Holistic Reiki Center. Demario, who owns EP Fashions. My man Eric, he owns the Haberdashery. And these guys, they're not millionaires. They're just small business owners. They don't want to work for nobody fucking else. They're intelligent enough to run a business and earn their own money and work for themselves. And like, this shit is fucking hurting right now. If you're a small business owner, especially if you have a storefront or some kind of space that you have to lease or rent, like, this shit is fucking ridiculous. And this was the first thing on my mind Soon as they start shutting shit down, like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is gonna hurt a lot of people on some crazy ass shit. And what if some small businesses can't hold out throughout this duration of this national quarantine lockdown shit, yo? By that much. Comment misters, by that much. Exactly. Exactly. And now there's gonna be this stigma. It got right in the middle. Mm. Now it's gonna be this COVID uh paranoia or goddamn phobia, whatever you want to fucking call it, like you say, for weeks and months after it's over. And then, I mean, how normal can we be again? Will concerts be normal again? Are people gonna want to go up the fucking Montage Mountain and have 36,000 people standing up there? Are movie theaters gonna be the same? I mean, will eat in restaurants be the same where there's you know 20, 35 families in a restaurant having dinner, and then someone coughs? What? I want my check. I'm getting out of this establishment. Like, this shit is gonna be really weird. Mm. Fat and drunk. Well, half the American population are already there. You know, it's and even in the beginning, son of a bitch. In the beginning, I think I hyped myself up about this more than I should have, because we already know how our government is. And anytime they have an opportunity to take a little bit of freedoms away, you won't even notice it to start with. A little bit. Just shave a little bit off the top. Freedom. Freedom. And it never fails. This shit never fails, bro. And that's what I fear all the fucking time. It's like it's anything major. It doesn't matter what it is. They're gonna find a way. You should never let uh, a disaster go to waste. Meaning, there is always an opportunity to accomplish otherwise. And man, this is what government officials say shit like that. Don't never let a tragedy or catastrophe go to waste. What the fuck? But this is how they think. And now you got people getting bullied and brutalized and manhandled by public service and police officers because you're not social distancing or you're not wearing the proper PPE. I ain't with all that nonsense, man. Word up. Even wearing a mask in a store, that shit feels weird, yo. I know it looks weird. I'm looking at everybody like, you fucking look weird, yo. All you guys. All you fuckers look crazy. But some people do it because it's mandated. And some people do it because they are fearful of catching this virus. I just need to look. I just need some eggs and some milk, man. I got cut my face. I'm just look. Can I just do this? Oh, it slipped down. Can I just come in like this? Cause I'm not about to put no mask on. No, I can't. You son of bitches. Living in a weird time, bro. The weirdest times ever. And then I'm actually I'm working on a pretty boring part on this painting. My bad, guys. Somebody had to answer a question on Black Scranton. Then let me send this my stream link real quick. I be trying to get my cousin to watch my streams, but they never do. You don't love me. You don't pay attention to me. God, Finn, too bad your message didn't come through, bro. You broke my stream, dude. You broke my messages. Ooh, that's what's up. I'll definitely I should have placed a little order of some K. Yeah, I'm gonna text you. I'll text you after this stream. But the comments are always getting stuck like that. And then I gotta read my phone in order just to keep up with the comments. It's the worst. All right. Fucking hate. Like you say, the internet. You know, this is just another one of my crazy conspiracy theories. Cause I'm always thinking crazy shit about every crazy thing. So everybody seems to be having a lot more issues with their phone service, their streaming services, their internet services, or the quality of their connections. Um, Lately, when I log into the place, excuse me, when I log into YouTube through the PlayStation services, there's a bunch of lag. Sometimes I can't make a strong enough connection to the server to even start a stream. Most of the time, the comments are getting stuck or pausing throughout the duration of the stream. I'll lose Wi-Fi connection to my laptop. I've been getting extremely more like drop calls lately. Just like in a couple weeks, start saying like, oh, there's problems with this, problems with that. Playing video games online, everybody's complaining about uh, lagging and packet loss and connectivity, and it's like, fuck, bro. You know what I think it is? You know what I think it is? This is my tinfoil hat now. Yo, 5G, baby. But hey, you already knew I was gonna say that. But just think about it. What if they're ramping up for 5G, installing these cell towers and testing the connection for the 5G on some of the older hardware or and try to transition the older hardware and software over to the newer hardware and software. And throughout this period of phase testing, it's interfering with our normal wireless connections. On top of the fact that, um, you know, about 30 or 40% of the nation is currently working from home using their home internet connections, which may add strain to the systems as well. But I'm really leaning towards this is uh, the implementation of 5G is causing our current 3 and 4G services to lag out, and they probably actually want it that way, where our current internet services seems to be lacking or not working as optimally as it could. And then you're going to start seeing all these advertisements for 5G, 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 5G. And it's like, fuck, the shit that I have now is crap. I might as well just upgrade, get this 5G. It's the best thing ever. And that's how they got you. You know, it's problem, reaction, solution. Oh, that's what's up. I just have to send you my address. You got it. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. 5G, bro. 5G. They gotta figure out a way to make more people want it. You know, how can we get the maximum amount of customers in the first 6 months of the 5G rollout? Just fiddle with everybody's internet. Make that shit crappy, yo. Tighten the bandwidth. Restrain the content. And they'll come running for this 5G, baby. 5G for everyone. Everyone. That's just conspiracy talk, though. Absolutely no truth or validity to that at all. In no way, shape, or form. I just came up with that shit just now. Like off the top of my head. Because I can think like that. You got to think all the way outside the box and then pull it back into what is logical and sensible, probable, and possible. I'm getting hella painting done though. That's all I do anyway. I've been painting a lot more off stream lately. I say there's been so many connection issues, and I don't know. I've actually had company here for a while with me in the studio who doesn't like being on camera, but they're not here right now. But yeah, still working on these masterpieces. I'm trying to find something to listen to.
Connected to desktop i5J0E.
Liberty Mutual, take 96.
Liberty Mutual.
Cut.
What's the line?
Cut.
Yeah, and I think I might not stream this piece for a while just because I need to work on the background, which is just all the books. And before I even start lettering the books and everything, I just have to straighten up the lines and get a lot of the shadows and tones on the books. And that's boring as hell to look at. And then the contrast between the black and the whites are so dramatic that when I put the camera up on it, it just blurs everything out and glares everything over, and you really can't even see what I'm painting anyway. For the past 2 streams, I've tried to like position the camera as best as I can to get a really good focus on what I'm doing, and it's fucking next to impossible. And by the end of the stream, is basically just me watching that shit. So I figure I might do some commentary, hang out with you guys for 30-40 minutes or something, and then work on the painting for about an hour or so before I fix some dinner. But it's looking nice. I started on this shelf over here with this row of books. Like I say, just trying to crispen up those lines a little bit, get those different highlights in there, essentially. Still a lot to go though, man. This piece is gonna be hella long, yo. I can already tell, like, cause there's a lot of books on the shelf, and then the book that she's holding has a lot of print, a lot of fine print on the front where her fingers are at. So, not trying to rush it. Gonna definitely just take my time, pace myself through this thing, make sure I don't fuck it up. Yeah, that comment, like you say, nobody was hardly talking about that. Like, you know, this comment is coming like a couple thousand miles within within the reach of Earth, yo. Like, whoa. Oh my God. Boom, boom, boom. The weather's starting to break a little bit. It's getting kind of nice. It wasn't all extra. I mean, I wore a light jacket today, but it wasn't like extra fucking cold and frigid. Oh, I wanted to show you guys the mural I'm working on at work too. Except it's like different files in my phone. Let me make sure I can scroll through this without embarrassing you guys, because I'm not going to be embarrassed. I don't want you to be embarrassed by what y'all see on my phone. You feel me? Alright. Oh yeah, I just fucking dropped. Yep. Break that too. Just fuck it up. Fuck it all the way up, bro. Break that shit, man. I don't give a damn. Who cares, yo? It's just just an object. That's all it is. It's an object. Nothing. So where's the? All right. So this is one of the classrooms at my job. See the little colorful kitty carpet, and this is just a wall where all our toys and books are at, and little dollhouse in the kitchen set, basketball goal and stuff for the kids. So we wanted a mural that would essentially be above this play area, so that all this stuff can still be on the wall, but you can still see the mural above it. And I was like, all right, so what are we gonna do? They said, well, we want a underwater scene. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I moved everything out the way and taped off the area where I wanted to paint in. And then there was this one mark. I had to patch that because I had to pull something off the wall. You can kind of see the drawing on there, but not really. Oh, that's me. That's who. Oh. And that was the start of it. So I did the top of the water. That's like the sun setting into the ocean.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
So you got the sunset and some waves crashing over here.
We are
Then you
Swift.
got like under the
And for
water
over 50 years,
and
America has
some
counted on our
dolphins and
drivers
whales and
to
turtles and
deliver
shit.
freight and do whatever it takes to keep store shelves stocked. Today, Swift is counting on you.
It's not a big
Experienced
difference,
drivers will
but-
get excellent pay,
Yo,
full
this
benefits,
commercial.
while
Skip that.
working with the best equipment. We'll get you back on the road when
Skip
it
the
matters
commercial.
most.
Jeez. Oh. So we got the dolphins in and started painting some of the fish in. Started painting the turtle in. And I think that's it. But yeah, all I gotta do is like the very, but there's the bottom of it. But it's looking good, yo. Having a lot of fun working on this mural. Yeah. They said another one's coming up? In 9 years? Oh my god. When will this shit end? Soulful City. Yeah, so I'm painting at work, I'm painting at home. And that's the second mural I did at my job. And then after I finished the underwater mural, there's another kids classroom that we have. And I'm going to do a safari mural in there. Just regular African animals. Put a giraffe and a zebra up in there. A lion. You know, a rhino. and try to keep just a try to keep it real minimum, just a handful of animals. Maybe that classic safari background with the one tree in the middle. You know what I'm talking about. I ain't gotta really describe it, but you know what I mean. Probably do something like that and just have like little animals. Still have to figure out the composition for it, but like I say, man, I'm doing alright. You know what I'm saying? My art's still moving. I still go to work every day. And so that's the difference in realities. Like, this COVID-19 has really disrupted some people, and it has barely affected other people. I'm one of the people who it's barely affected me. Barely.
It was just part of
You
it.
know,
I'm pictures up online,
once again, the
some
most
feedback, and decided there was something.
the most inconvenience I have from this situation is having to wear a mask when I go grocery shopping. That's about it. I feel extremely lucky. I feel really fortunate, to say the least, because I've talked to some people who are crying over this stuff, and loss of work, child care, not able to receive unemployment benefits for 8 weeks. And it's like, how do you expect people to fucking live, yo? Like, and then it's that whole thing of like, fuck you, government, but oh, we need the government, but not too much government, but enough government subsidies, and it's just like this whole conflict, and it's I just wanted to be over with, honestly. The whole thing. Bam bam bam, da da dun 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 dun, bam bam bam, da da dun 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 dun, dun dun dun, da da dun dun dun, bam bam ba ba da 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 da.
Brandon in Phoenix, how are you?
Yeah, hey Matt, how are you?
It says here, can I mention what the call screener note was?
Yeah, go for it.
Brandon wants to present evidence of God and guarantees this will be the best show ever if his call is taken this time. Wow.
Like May the 18th?
We're
That's
on,
crazy.
man. Go for it.
Well,
I cede the floor.
I did, but I don't know. It was weird. Like, in the beginning, like I said, like when they started talking about restricting travel and goddamn curfews and all this shit, man. I say I went and filled up my gas jugs with gas. I mean my deep freezer. I try to keep that full all the time. My canned goods are full. Like my paper products are full. I didn't have to go scramble for any of that shit. I already had all of that on hand. But I was definitely worried about paper money, physical money. I went straight to the bank and took a couple $1,000s out that shit and stashed it around the house. They say it's just, I don't know. It's such a uncertain time. Like, motherfuckers can't be positive of anything unless you got COVID-19. You tested positive. Fuck. But everything else is like up in the air, man. Motherfuckers are, it's weird. It's a weird time. It's an uncertain time. People are unsure about everything. finances are fucking super tight for the average person right now, and we're all average people, cause shit. If I was a Oppenheimer or fucking Rothschild or fucking goddamn any of these motherfuckers, man, wouldn't have a worry in the world, not a care in the world. But we just regular people. We just regular folks. Our families don't own any banks or anything, so we gotta suffer and struggle through this shit. Oh boy. Wow. Not even if it's yellow, still no gems or none of that shit. Like, I don't get it. I'm thinking I might cancel my gym membership anyway. I started buying some weights and stuff, man. I just might get me a weight bench and some more dumbbells and just do my shit at home. Fuck the gym. Yeah. You know, that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. That's really how I'm feeling right now. Alright, I need to paint something for these damn paint to dry up on my palette. And I'm sitting here looking like a doofus with dried paint on my palette. I don't want all my paints to dry up. These paints ain't cheap. And so what I was gonna work on now is I'm slowly moving this top shelf. This red book has no wet paint. I'm pretty sure this is wet, but this is not. So I'm gonna work from this red book and go this way. And I'm gonna try to come behind her head. This is a pretty wide area. I might be able to fill this in pretty quick. And then I want to do this little piece of shelf up here. Then I'll come back. Like, I don't know, I just like to bring it down like evenly. So I do the top, go across, maybe come back and start working on this section, which is the second shelf that you can see. Work my way across here, and then come back and start these books here. And like I said, this is just to get some of the lines a little bit sharper and straight, getting some more of the shadows and tones on there properly. But I'm not even doing the lettering yet. So after I do all of this, I'm gonna have to come back and then letter every book after that. So wish me luck on that one. Still have tons of work to do on her. Her hair needs tons of detail. Her skin is going to need another entire layer of paint to brighten it up and add some more details to bring the colors out more. Haven't really did anything to her jacket. That's still just the first layer of paint. So we got tons of time left on this painting. Tons of time. We're not shaman. We're not going to be done with this anytime soon. So sit back, buckle up for the long haul. We're going to be working on it. Like I said, guys, I'm working on a really, really, really boring part of this painting right now. I'm going to keep camera on for a little bit longer while we listen to this clip of the Atheist Experience. But I don't blame you if you guys just back out the stream and just be like, fuck this. It's not a really exciting part. So no love lost, no hard feelings. I get it. This dude in here painting books. You know? Trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for dinner. I have some leftovers. But do I want to eat leftovers again? I ain't want to throw it out. I might save the leftovers and eat that for lunch tomorrow, cause I gotta go to work. And then just cook something else different tonight. But something quick and easy, because I didn't take any meats out the freezer. So And it have to be something in the can or in a bag. And I got plenty of stuff in cans and bags. So we'll make something work. I may take something out of a bag and pour it into something that came out of a can and mix it together. Sometimes you will get a meal that way. Or I could eat my leftovers for dinner tonight, and then I would have to prepare something for myself to eat for lunch tomorrow, such as a sandwich. Or I could take something to work that's in a bag or in a can. That's hard choices, man. I'm gonna figure this shit out in a little while, though. Bear with me.
Let me start by just kind of to stage things. Let me ask you if for example, I had buried $30 million worth of gold, and I approached you with a proposition that if you help me dig up this gold, which I've stamped to prove that it's my gold, it's got my name on it and all of that, and I guaranteed you that you were going to get 30% of the take for helping me dig it up, would you want me to draw up a contract to our agreement?
Yes.
Now, why would you want me to draw up a contract?
Proof.
Because it has legal protection in the case that you try to screw me on the deal after.
So basically, I mean, in short, so that the story doesn't change after we dig up the gold, right?
I suppose you can phrase it that way, sure. But the real thing is that I'm not as concerned.
I only told you 5%, not 30%.
Sure, yeah, okay, well, that's a version of the story. I'm just saying that I would do it because there's legal protection there to keep me from getting screwed.
Right. So,
but before I grab a shovel, you're going to have to actually demonstrate that the gold's real, because I'm just going to, basically I would
well, that was
probably
my
also...
point, is you have no idea if I actually buried anything, so you kind of have to take my word on faith.
No, because the
I
contract...
actually buried...
No, I don't have to take your word on faith for anything, because the contract would be written in such a way that if you have $30 million in gold, and you're going to give me 30% of it, well, let's just say $10 million to make the math easier. You got $30 million in gold, and if I help you dig it up, I'm going to get $10 million in gold. What's going to happen is you're going to guarantee me payment of $10 million for digging X amount, because I'm not just going to keep digging holes with you forever. There's going to be a description of what the actual job is and what the payment's going to be, and an agreement. It doesn't matter then whether or not you actually have gold.
I haven't listened to Saint Germain, and I didn't hear that episode of Joe Rogan. Probably check that shit out later tonight, though. I'm all over Joe Rogan, man. I like Joe Rogan. Listen, you know it. You know, Sean. I be listening to Joe Rogan all the time, man. Joe Rogan the man.
Because I'm either getting my money or I'm going to take everything you've got, suing you afterwards for breach of contract. And now I don't have to believe your story.
You're a smart business guy, and I mean, I would like to state that, intellectually, I think you absolutely dwarf me. If you and I
that doesn't matter. I mean,
you would absolutely have a higher IQ than I do. So, but
I don't care about IQ.
The one thing I've got on my side is actual wisdom, being in the truth.
And see, I would say that wisdom.
Conversation.
I would say that wisdom is exactly the sort of thing that would make you design the sort of contract that I'm doing, because wisdom is about lessons learned and having an understanding of reality. That would be wisdom. IQ doesn't matter. You get a 80 points lower IQ than me, but if you've learned the lesson about how to not get screwed, you can still write the same contract. So I would say that is wisdom. Wouldn't you say it's a wise contract?
Contract is simply that, we put things in writing so that the words can't change. So that's, kind of why, the Old Testament and the New Testament is also referred to as the Old Covenant and the New Covenant.
Yeah, it's curious. It's curious that
why.
Go ahead.
The God that I'm trying to prove, why he put everything in writing is so that the story can't change.
How do you know God put everything in writing?
Why did he need to amend it?
Yeah, why did he have to have the Old Covenant?
The purpose of amending it is, ultimately in the Old Testament, he told the Jews that I bring you a curse this day, that the law is a curse to them. So, and this is also why Jesus said salvation comes through the Jews. He's going to use these people who, went with Moses out of Egypt.
Can we stop preaching and move to the proof of God?
Yeah, we complete. So first of all, you're supposed to be presenting proof of God. And second of all, this notion of we write things down so they can't change, that's separate. But
well, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna circle back around to that. So, but
I guarantee you're going to do a lot of circling, because it's already you're beginning with essentially a circular argument that we need to rely on the Bible because it is the words that were written down, so it couldn't change. And yet the issue is, how do you know that anything in the Bible is true and accurate with respect to what you're going to claim about God?
Well, I mean, let me start here. As far as
let me start here. I gotta tell the whole story.
And historians can agree that Jesus of Nazareth was a real person.
No. Okay, so first of all, 93% of all statistics are pulled right out of somebody's ass at the time that they need to use them. But the percentage of the percentage of people who believe that Jesus was real is irrelevant to whether or not he was real. And even if everybody believed that Jesus was a real person, that doesn't mean that we have evidence that he was divine or God. I believe there were lots of real people.
But I agree. I mean, as far as that's not proof yet. That
so everything you said is irrelevant to the point of demonstrating that God exists. That's my point.
Okay. Well, I mean, and we do know that he was crucified.
Well, we know that that the Bible claims that he was crucified. It's not like we have any evidence of a crucifixion outside of the Bible. Well, we don't even have any evidence.
Modern scholars
we don't
agree.
Brandon. Oh my God. No, we don't. No, we don't. And modern scholars don't actually agree on that. What they agree is there are stories about this. The truth is we have no contemporary accounts of any event from Jesus' life at all, which is why there are some people who think this is entirely a myth. I'm not making that argument. But if you're just going to come on here and say, oh, 75% of scholars agree that he was a person, and most modern scholars agree that he was crucified, none of that matters. Because let me just concede, for the sake of this argument, Brandon, let's just assume I believe Jesus existed and was crucified.
Okay, now.
Okay.
I don't actually believe that's the case.
Your debate that you did between Bart Ehrman and Bob Price. So, I mean,
I wasn't involved in that. They had the debate. I'm saying, for the purposes of this discussion right here, let's just pretend that I believe that Jesus existed and that he was crucified. Neither of those things, neither of those have any relevance, any bearing on whether or not there's a God.
Well, I mean, but he claimed that he was God, and that's why he was crucified.
Yeah, so what, bro?
Okay, I agree.
Brandon.
Jim Jones said he was Christ, and motherfucking David Koresh said he was Christ, and so the fuck what?
So were those people God?
No.
Okay, so doesn't that mean this is irrelevant, that somebody claimed they were God and were killed for it?
Well, I mean, I'm getting to that because, see, I mean, God did something very...
You've got to get to it a lot better than just starting... You've got to get to this a lot better than just starting with a parade of things that are irrelevant. What is the proof, the evidence that God exists?
He did. The proof that he provided us to prove his claim that he was God is, number one, prophecy.
Nope.
In the Bible.
Nope.
And then number two is the fact that, I mean, the works that he did, the miracles that he did that convinced...
You see how boring this is, guys? I'm painting the same colors over again, trying to straighten the lines out.
I agree. Now, please demonstrate that he actually did any of the things that are reported.
Well, I mean, if you, for example, I'm just going to give you the elevator version.
Why don't you give us the best one? Why don't you give us evidence? Because it says here that you're going to present evidence. And you presented nothing but claims. So present evidence. Do you even know what evidence is?
Yeah, let me get there. As far as
I'm trying to.
Scholars all agree that the Book of Daniel was written between 603 and 606 BC. That's when that book was written. And in this, it was given the prophecy that the Messiah, Jesus, was going to come.
But they didn't call him Jesus.
That's false.
In exactly 483 years.
Brandon, that's false. It doesn't say Jesus in Daniel.
Well, it says the Messiah.
Okay, but you said the Messiah, Jesus. You are dishonestly injecting Jesus into a potential prophecy here because you've already concluded that he does this. But if a book says our future Messiah will do this, does that mean that later on, if somebody does that they are in fact the Messiah?
Well, I mean, it's pretty accurate as far.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Daniel.
I'm not asking. So here's a statement. somebody makes a statement about a future event. If later on that future event comes true, what does that tell us about the prophecy?
That the prophet was absolutely true in what he was saying.
It tells us that they said something which came true. But does that mean that the prophet actually predicted this? Did they knowingly set up a scenario that they knew was going to happen?
Well, I mean, in the book of Daniel, the angel Gabriel came to Daniel and said, in 483 years, the Messiah is going to walk through the gates of Jerusalem.
And his name will be
recognized as the Messiah.
What they said his name would be? Something with a fucking M.
Exactly,
Malachi, or I don't know what the fuck they call him.
173,880 days.
It wasn't no fucking Jesus.
This day, Jesus entered into Jerusalem.
So let's say, Jesus Christ. Let's say that 3 days before Jesus entered Jerusalem, assuming that's
I try to play more music, but I
did
get
someone
banned
have
so
access
easy,
to
dude.
the
Like
Book of Daniel at that time?
I'm always getting banned over the music content. That's the one thing that shuts me off every time. And so now I just try to find like podcasts or streams or channels that are non-profit and allow you to listen to their stuff on your stream, because YouTube is really for content creators. I mean, I'm kind of creating content. I mostly just give commentary. And so listening to other people's content, I completely get it now, and I don't want to get banned anymore, but it is so hard to listen to music on here. And then it's the weirdest thing, because I see a lot of other people listen to music in their YouTube streams, and they never get in trouble for it. But no. Not when it comes to art and education. We're going to ban your fucking art, bro. And your silly education. You can't be out here educating these people. Fuck's wrong with you? And you're listening to what? What the fuck is that? Waka Flocka? Ban him! Yep. And I've listened to my own music so many times. I'm tired of hearing that shit. I'm lying. I'll never get tired of hearing my own music, because my music was hot. My own music is the best music I've ever made. Truly magnificent pieces of art in their own right. Glad to be here, happy to leave, you know, shit like that. Okay, let's wipe some of that off. The Bible proves the Bible.
Historians. That's why God used them.
So if I go in to a restaurant and I order a steak medium rare, and I get a steak that's medium rare, have I made a prediction and the waiter fulfilled prophecy?
Well, I mean, that's a prediction. That's something, you know.
Prophecy is a prediction.
And prediction are two different things.
No, they're not.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
No, they're not. They're not. Prophecy and prediction are synonyms. You are saying this is going to happen in the future, and then it happens.
Absolutely. We're talking many years in the future.
It don't matter. The time frame don't matter.
Prediction died before the thing ever.
I'll tell you exactly what difference it makes. It means that there were 683 years for people to actively work towards that goal, knowing it was going to happen. If I say 1 year from today, somebody is going to give birth to a child, and they are going to name it Matt is Awesome. And a year to the day from now, somebody actually names their kid Matt is Awesome. Was that prophecy being fulfilled? Or was that somebody saying, hey...
He said that he would be called Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
The prophecy gave him Jesus.
Yeah, not Jesus, right? Not Jesus. In the New Testament, he's not referred to as Emmanuel.
The meaning of Emmanuel is God with us. To another way to prove that Jesus is God as he claimed.
So
that's what
we have.
Yeah. So why didn't they just call him Emmanuel instead of calling him Jesus?
We have a number of big problems here. One is that you believe everything in the Bible.
That's the first one.
Well, let me just say this. As far as I believe that the King James Bible.
No, the King James version.
The prophecy given in Psalm 12.
And I'm assuming you're talking about these. I'm assuming
in the trash.
I'm assuming you're talking about the 1611 AV version only, right?
Correct. The standard authorized Cambridge edition Bible.
Well, that's the Standard Authorized Cambridge Edition may not be the exact same thing as the 1611 Authorized Version, is it?
Well, I mean, that's the real Bible.
Get your story straight.
Is you can take all the other Bibles and trash them.
Sure, even the Bibles that was based on, that the interpretations came out of, even the Masoretic text and the Septuagint, you can chuck those in the trash?
Well, see,
what about the Dead Sea Scrolls? What about the Dead Sea? What about the Dead Sea Scrolls? You're gonna chuck those in the trash too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
As far as this is where.
So Brandon, we're done. Brandon, you're
a cartoon, man.
Brandon, we're done. You have a ridiculous position. You have a ridiculous position. Here, no. I'm not holding on. You're holding on. You're on hold right now. I might bring you back. I might not. In 1611, a new version of the Bible was translated from a number of different texts. And your thing is, we can toss out all those things that it was based on and just go with this one, as if the Lord himself spoke English. As if these people who translated it have even a fraction of the understanding of the ancient languages and the context at the time as modern scholars do. That makes no sense. This is you not just cherry-picking from the Bible, but cherry-picking the Bible.
The Bible itself.
Well, I don't mean to. I'm not trying to cherry pick. I
No,
understand your point.
no, you aren't.
I'm just saying that I mean, obviously, God. If God is God, then He's capable of speaking any language that He wants to.
Sure. Isn't He also capable? Isn't He also capable of revealing Himself to all of us right now?
He has. This is the point. This is where I'm.
No, He hasn't. God has never revealed Himself to me. I can say that with confidence.
Or me.
Well, I mean, He's not going to physically reveal
Why not?
Himself to you.
Can He not do that?
Because of our nature versus.
Can He do that? Can He do it or not?
Without destroying you, no.
Then how did He reveal Himself to anybody else? How did He explain the Damascus Road experience? Isn't that a revelation directly to Saul?
Absolutely, and as far as
it didn't destroy him, did it?
This is
did it destroy him?
Those are chosen vessels, and apostles have a specific.
Okay, look, oh my God, you're just making all kinds of excuses. I said, can God do this? And you said, not without destroying you. And then I pull up an example where you have to believe, because it's in your book, that God revealed Himself to somebody without destroying. And now you come up with a post hoc rationalization that He was a chosen vessel. Can God make me a chosen vessel?
Of course, I think He has.
Why hasn't He?
If you actually
Wait,
were
well then we're back to square one. No.
Why doesn't He do it?
Because now you just said that you think God has made me a chosen vessel, but you said that God couldn't reveal Himself to destroy it without destroying me. And then when I asked what it would take, I would say, why could it happen to Saul? And you said because He was a chosen vessel. So if I'm a chosen vessel, then clearly God can reveal Himself to me without destroying me, right? So the answer to my original question was yes, He can.
Yes, sure, of course. I mean,
and yet He hasn't.
If you were to be an apostle, which their function has already been served, it's done.
So apostles have to believe before the revelation?
No, I mean, but see,
okay, so then
apostles are different from prophets.
No, Brandon.
As far as
Brandon,
they set down doctrine. Prophets tell
shut up.
Events.
You're not following this. You've said I'm a vessel, and that God can reveal Himself to me. And then when I say why hasn't He, you say it's because I'm not an apostle. And I'm asking, do you have to be an apostle before that you get the revelation? And your answer is no. So it's irrelevant to why I haven't received the revelation yet. Don't you think that if God considers me a vessel and reveals Himself to me, that perhaps I might become an apostle?
Well, no, because I mean the apostleship is already done. There won't be any more apostles.
So then God can't reveal Himself to me because I can't become an apostle, right?
Well, no. He has.
No, He hasn't.
Here on earth right now. See,
Brandon.
Sorry.
God has not revealed Himself to me. Period. Full stop.
Well, let me explain how He's done this.
Let me explain. You're not really getting the point, Matt.
How can it be possible that something has been revealed to you and yet you don't see it? The process of revelation intrinsically includes the recognition of the observer. This is something different from, hey, there is evidence for something and you just haven't seen it yet, versus I have revealed this evidence to you and you don't see it.
Well, I mean, have you ever, like lost your glasses or something and they're just sitting right in front of your...
Goodbye.
I'm constantly disappointed about these folks that say, hey, I've got proof of God, and they come on and nothing.
Have you lost your glasses? Yep. And you know what found them? Looking for the glasses. When it was revealed to me what their location was, by my eyes and my searching, not by some external spirit, I found my glasses. This sort of nonsensical, simplistic, hey, I lost my glasses, I prayed for help, and then I found my glasses. Okay, what did the prayer have to do with it? Nothing.
Well, didn't Jesus prophesy that he'd be returning within a generation?
Not necessarily, he didn't put a time frame on it, but he said there are some standing here who will not taste of death until all these things have come to pass, which can be interpreted that way, and it can be interpreted another way.
I'm pretty sure there's a quote where he says within a generation.
Well, there are things about that within this generation, but that
Okay.
it's all subject to interpretation. It's a big mess.
It's a big mess.
But at the end of the day, this notion of prophecy, I've already done a video on prophecy. We already talked about it over and over again. The fact that the book of Daniel says something that you look at events later and interpret them as if they fit that. I tell you what, instead of calling the atheist experience, go call the Jewish experience and explain to them why they're wrong to not recognize Jesus as the predicted Messiah. Because they believe in the prophecy, I don't. And you think the prophecy's been fulfilled, and they don't. So when the two of you sort out what's the actual truth about prophecy, then call back. And when you can get atheists and Jews to say, yes, we agree this is prophecy and it was fulfilled, but we still don't believe in Jesus. Whatever.
My dream is to help people understand how the universe operates so that each person can find their own unique purpose.
All right, man. Look, I've recently heard a few shows from you guys. I've kind of went on YouTube searches and saw it, and kind of got introduced to Matt through some of that recently, and saw some of the discussions he was having with some theists in the past and some other past shows, things of that nature.
Can I ask one quick question?
I think, yeah, well,
hold on a second. Matt wanted to ask you a question.
I just wanted to know if you'd seen the conversation that I had with Blake about whether or not faith is rational.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's a bone I got to pick with you right there, Matt.
Cool. That's what I suspected. I just wanted to be clear. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
First of all,
and this is
one of the things
this is
I
Talk
talk
Heathen,
is
so you're going to talk to both of us. This isn't a show where you're going to get one of us.
No problem.
All right.
No problem at all. Well, for one thing, I believe both of you guys believe in God. You're just suppressing it.
Okay, so that's a claim that you're making. Is there anything you can do to back that up or show that that's anything other than just a claim?
And let me tack on to that. Do you think it's possible that someone believes something and yet they're unaware that they believe it?
Yes.
Okay, so it's possible to believe in something and not know that you believe in it.
They suppress it, yes, sir. They may believe it unconsciously or subconsciously.
How do you demonstrate that?
They'll be denying.
How do you demonstrate that is possible, that it's possible for someone to believe something and not be aware of it?
Because your actions, we walk what's in our heart, and we talk what we think.
I agree that your actions always comport with your beliefs.
There you go.
What belief do I have, or what action do I take that betrays my hidden secret belief of a God, or Eric, or anybody?
Let me ask you, do you guys, both of you guys, I'm talking directly to both of you, do you commit murder?
No.
Actually, I commit as much murder as I want to. I commit all of the murder that I want to. That's a Penn Jillette line that I absolutely love, is I commit all of the murder that I want to, which is none.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't murder, but my reasons for not murdering have nothing to do with a belief in a God.
Where does your wants come from?
Where do my wants come from?
This is a weird line of questioning. Where are you going with this, man?
Well, let's let him go there.
Yeah.
I just want to know what.
Yeah, I'll get there for you.
Sure.
Where do my wants come from? I'm trying to figure out what you asked me a question. I really want to answer it. I just don't know that the question really makes sense. So, Like, give me an example of a want that I probably have, and what you mean by where does it come from? Because I have things that I desire, and I couldn't possibly tell you what the motivation is, other than that it's something that arises from my brain as a result of complex interactions in reality.
Yeah, but those complex, that reality is what I'm pointing to. That reality is God.
Okay, prove it. That's not the reality that I'm pointing to. I'm talking about the physical reality that I'm in, that I am convinced we both share, and I'm not convinced that there's a God as any part of it. I'm talking about, like when I want to eat, that is the result of me not having eaten in a while and my body requiring nutrition. So the physical facts and laws about the universe dictate that I am going to want to be hungry. In a similar fashion, if I want to ride a roller coaster, there is some set of physical facts in the universe that have led to that eventuality that I may not fully understand, but I don't know how one could say I'm a god.
Now, unless that's how you define God, John, are you defining God as the act of wanting?
Yeah, you're talking about two different things. You're talking about you're talking about physicality, which would be you're hungry. Maybe your stomach is needing nutrition and your body needs it. And then there's something unphysical going on, and that's the communication between your body and your mind.
Do you think that your mind is not physical, John?
Conscious of that.
Do you think your mind is not physical?
Yeah, your mind is not physical. No.
Okay, so hold on a second. Because we've been able to demonstrate a whole lot about minds, right? We've been able to demonstrate that people who get into accidents, right, into maybe a major motorcycle accident and suffer brain damage, those people completely change, right? Their tastes change, their attitudes change, the way they look at the world changes. They could develop certain beliefs or other beliefs. So what is it about a mind that exists outside of the body?
So I'm not saying that the mind exists outside of the body.
Then what about the body is not physical?
But it's well, what I'm saying is that the mind is an aspect of the material world.
Everything that we know of is an aspect of the material world. Can you show me something that is not?
I mean, you're saying that a mind is not...
The only thing, I would say that God is everything and also outside of the physical world.
Okay, can you point to anything else?
That's through thoughts, through your consciousness.
Okay, hold on. Your consciousness is a physical thing as well, John. Your thoughts and your consciousness are also physical. Name something that is not physical.
No, there's a conceptual gap there. I mean, science is objective. Thoughts and everything.
No, science is a process.
Subjective by nature.
Science is a process that we use. Hold on. Science is a process that we use to try and understand the world around us. It's not physical, right? It's something that we use. It's a process that we've developed to try and get closer to finding out true things about the world around us.
Where are the thoughts in your brain? If you open up a brain, can you show me the red moon that I'm
stick you in an MRI. That's a thing, dude.
No, it's not. No, it's not. John is correct. That is a correlation. The place where John is wrong is in the very question, as if a thought is something that exists in some space or place. There's no reason to think that is the case.
Right.
That doesn't mean that thoughts are things that are not physical. It means that thoughts are.
You're exactly right, sir.
Okay.
You're exactly right.
And so now you're in agreement with me that thoughts aren't things.
Right.
So that a question about where are thoughts is a non sequitur, because thoughts aren't things, so they can't be somewhere.
Right.
Thoughts are the labels that we put on brain states.
But they exist.
No, they don't exist. As you just agreed that they are not things. Thoughts are the labels. Thoughts are the labels that we put on brain states, right?
They're correlated to brain states, yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. You brought up a red moon, right? If I were to stick you in an MRI and have you envision a red moon, we can see where in your brain those places are being activated. And we're getting to the place where, to a degree, you can think of a red moon, and at some point we're going to be able to go, hey, that person is thinking of a red moon. There are some incredible studies about that.
Maybe.
So
based on reports. If I give you a report that I'm thinking of a red moon, and then you see that my brain lights up in a certain area, then you can say, hey, this is what red moon looks like from the standpoint of MRI or whatever.
Well, in John's brain.
Correlation, though, man.
In John's brain.
But it doesn't matter, because you are asserting that minds are not physical. You are claiming that thoughts both... Oh, my God. You are claiming that thoughts are both not things and that they are things.
Yep.
Okay, that is a logical contradiction which nullifies your position. You have just affirmed both the affirmative and the AFC. You have said that something is both what it is and not what it is. That is a contradiction, and that nullifies your position entirely.
But if I tell you that I feel a certain way, or if I have a headache,
hang on, John.
That's a good example.
John, what does that have to do? What does that have to do with the fact? What is that, John? John, what does that have to do with the fact that you just affirmed two mutually exclusive, contradictory positions? You don't get to. No, John. You don't get to say that something is both true and not true. And when I point it out, you go on to something else about how you feel. You have committed a logical fallacy by affirming both something as true and not true. And you don't just get to skip past it. Yes, you did, and you acknowledged it, and you agreed to it.
No, I mean, let me be clear.
Okay, please.
Maybe I'm being misunderstood. I don't know.
No, you missed.
Let me be clear.
That's okay. Let's go back.
Thoughts in themselves, like pain.
There is no self.
Of pain. I'm just using that as an example because it may make it a little more clear for you guys. If I have a headache or a toothache, and a doctor says, "Well, hey man, I don't see your toothache existing anywhere in your brain or anywhere else. That's just your report."
Do you understand?
Hang on, let me finish.
Right. I would be kind of irritated.
Oh my God, John!
I'm sorry, am I talking over you? Go ahead.
I have a toothache. I literally have a toothache right now. Now I'm telling you that what I'm explaining to you that my body is experiencing this. Yes, it is self-reported. There's no way for you to ever know whether or not I'm experiencing a toothache. But that doesn't make pain a thing unto itself. Pain is the description that I apply to what my body is experiencing. Now, you can believe me or not believe me, but that's independent of this. You're going from the physical to the conceptual, and then trying to also claim that the conceptual is somehow real in and of itself. If every brain dies, if every nervous system ceases to exist, is there any pain in the universe?
Nope. Correct.
And so pain is a description of something that nervous systems experience, right?
Right.
And nervous systems are physical, correct?
Yes.
So this is a physical experience from a nervous system and a physical brain. Where are we getting to anything that is remotely non-physical?
Very simply, because there's a qualia. There's a
qualia is nonsense.
To
but go
experience.
Ahead. I reject
quality to experience. A quality to experience doesn't exist, like you said, as a thing, but it is a reality. It's a conceptual reality. You feel pain. That's a true feeling. Now,
it is true that you feel it. It doesn't mean that you are feeling something that is true. And qualia, by the way, I reject.
Okay, you reject it, but I know it's for real.
Okay, so hold on.
I don't, and there's no way you can demonstrate it.
Yeah, let's drive this back for a second, because you've done this twice now, John. You said, you don't, but I believe it, therefore I'm right. How can we tell that, because you've said you know that God exists and you just, right? Isn't that how you started this?
He started with we know that God exists.
We know that God exists.
So we kind of got off track.
Yeah, so hold on. Let's dive back here, right? Because that is incredibly presumptuous.
Well, the question that I had asked is it possible to believe something and not be aware? And you think it is, and I think it's not. So convince me that it's possible to believe something and not be aware that you believe it. An acceptance of a proposition.
And right. I'm going to jump right here at the beginning and say, I'm right and you're wrong just cause, haha. It doesn't.
No, that's not what he's doing.
Okay, let's make sure.
That's not right.
That's not what he's doing.
Right, that wouldn't be right. That wouldn't be That wouldn't make sense. So
Yes, what I want,
basing what I'm saying
what I
on
want for
Bible.
clarity, is the example, is the case under which you can show that someone believes, accepts a proposition, and yet is not aware that they accept a proposition.
Okay, so, and this is where I'm getting this from. It's basically from Romans 1:20. I don't know if you're familiar with the Bible, man.
Oh my God. I'm not only am I familiar with it, I'm very familiar with it, and it's not relevant. You might as well be saying where I'm getting this is from Captain Kirk in Star Trek Season 2, Episode 14.
No, hold on a second. Hold on. I see. Okay, so I've got the Bible open to Romans, and I've got the book of Eric.
You going to what, Romans 1:9?
120.
120.
All right,
Sure.
So I've got Romans open, and I also have the book of Eric open, right? So first thing I want you to do is I want you to convince me why I should be reading the Bible instead of the book of Eric.
Okay, well, this kind of goes back to faith.
Okay, what is faith good for?
Okay, faith is when you have confidence in the process.
Okay.
There's going to come a time, I mean, when you don't start with absolute knowledge and certainty. You start, if you're going to discover something, you say, hey, well, let's see if this is going to work. Let me withhold judgment. Let me just have faith in the process and see what comes out on the other side.
Okay, so hold on a second.
If you consistently get good results, then you can pretty much be assured that your faith is founded in something solid.
Then I would say that you would, then let's change that word, because I think faith is what you do when you don't have evidence. When you do have evidence, you don't need faith.
That's right.
He's
so
using
faith is the confidence in what we hope for and the assurance.
Sure, Hebrews 1:11 or 11:1. Sorry.
Don't see.
Yeah. So
Hebrews 11. I got it.
So what's the So you're saying you have faith in your Bible, and I have faith in the book of Eric. Which book should I have open?
Yeah. So first of all, look at Romans 1:20.
No, hold on. First, tell me which book I should have open, because you're appealing to something in your book. And I really don't think that book is a way to get to truth. So please demonstrate to me why I should hold your book over mine.
Okay. Prophecies would be a good starting point.
Okay, do you think people can prophesy, and that is tell the future, right?
Yeah, that's right. The Bible makes very distinctive,
no, it doesn't.
Very clear prophecies about the Savior Jesus Christ dying for us on the cross.
Oh, hold on a second. So in your book,
no, it
doesn't. Hold on. In your book, you're saying, I'm not even going to open the Bible, but I know Matt could prove you wrong on your statement. But let's just say that that's true. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, John. Okay? And given the benefit of the doubt, your book says there's a prophecy, and then also in your book, the prophecy comes true, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that happens in my book too. Now, how do we tell the difference?
Let me short circuit this with one quick question. Let's say I have a book that has been right about 9 things. Does that mean it's right about the 10th thing?
That's where your faith comes in.
Okay, there's no good reason for faith, and I'm trying to get there, but let's start here. Why? Okay, my book prophesied, right, that Sunday was going to come after Saturday. Do you believe in my book now?
Yeah, but that's kind of arbitrary. That's not quite the same thing that I was.
Yes, it's far more accurate than anything in the Bible.
Okay, so let's say I wrote in my book that I died last week and came back to life. It says, Eric was going to die in the 3rd week of September 2018, and after a day or so, he rose from the dead, and it's in my book.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you believe it?
Bingo. Yes, sir.
You do?
You believe the book of Eric?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, my gosh, John. Oh, wait, hold on.
You just added an if.
Yeah, wait a second. Are you saying that you can demonstrate that claim in the Bible?
He just added a weird if.
Difference.
Yeah, hold on, because I thought you were going to be a confirmed Ericite.
I believe you.
So hold on. You're saying you can demonstrate the claim in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead, please. I'm bated breath here.
So you just referenced the Old Testament with the New Testament.
Yes, in my book, that happens too. Name something that proves your book different from mine.
But you have a problem there with what you said too, because do you know who references the Old Testament? Jews, and they don't believe that Jesus was the Messiah.
Well, that's a good point. I'll give you that, Matt. You got a good point there.
Also, do you have any way to show that Jesus died and was resurrected?
Well, yeah, it's in the Bible.
Well, yeah. Okay, no. You don't get to use the Bible to confirm the Bible. Do you have any extra biblical sources that attest to what the Bible claims?
Everything is found in the Bible. You use the Bible to interpret the Bible.
Okay, that's
then everything
stupid.
Yeah, everything is found in the Book of Eric, and you use the Book of Eric to confirm the Book of Eric. Then everything is found in Star Trek, and you use Star Trek to confirm Star Trek.
Which is why you don't use that to get to understand the truth about the world. It's not a reliable epistemology.
Yeah.
You know what epistemology means, John?
Well, this is why when he goes to Romans,
I think that's like the study of how you know.
That's right. And so what we're doing is we're pointing out a tool to you that is not working well. Because according to the tool that you just pointed out, the Book of Eric is true. I'm telling you right now, I'm a sarcastic son of a bitch. I don't actually believe it to be true, but I can use this to point out the fault in your reasoning. Your reasoning has a gaping hole in it that can make anything in that book true.
Okay, what did you want to ask?
But let me ask you.
Sure.
Let me ask you this, because you're making a good point. I'm an open-minded guy.
That's
right?
good.
Now, would you say that the Old Testament, though, was written hundreds of years before Jesus walked the earth? Do you at least understand that?
I'm not convinced that Jesus walked the earth, but if he did, yes, the Old Testament was written prior to that.
And also, it doesn't matter. And I can tell you why, John, because there are texts that exist from before the Old Testament. And those texts have stories in them that none of us, both you and I will probably agree aren't true. So why would you say that the age of a story?
He's not making a case about the age. He's not making a case about the age. He's making a case that there are predictions that came before the events.
Oh, okay.
Right.
In the book.
Right.
Yes.
Right. From the book. Even the New Testament scholars, the people who wrote, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, referred to those old prophecies when explaining what happened to Jesus on the cross, for example. Different things. You went back and referred back to those.
There's two problems here. Nobody is saying that the things written in the Old Testament were not written before the New Testament. That's not the position. The problems is that the things in the Old Testament are subject to interpretation. The prophet Matthew, for the author of Matthew, because it wasn't Matthew, but the author of the book of Matthew was really fond of going back to prophecy, more so than any other gospel writer. And matter of fact,
I know. Right.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he goes to things that tries to reference things in the Old Testament that aren't even in the Old Testament. That's how keen he is on prophecy. But it's a matter of interpretation. And so even if he's writing, these events came to pass as it was said in blah, 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 blah. First of all, what he references may or may not be a prophecy. He may or may not have a correct interpretation of that. The Jews definitely don't think he does. Second of all, we have no way to confirm that the things that he claims happened to fulfill prophecy actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have is a statement that someone is interpreting as a prophecy, and then they're pointing to an event which we cannot confirm and claiming that event confirms prophecy. So what we would need is independent evidence from other sources, from contemporary sources, and we don't have anything like that. And so while you can take it as a matter of faith that the Bible's correct and that Jesus fulfilled prophecy, you don't actually have evidence for that, certainly not enough to warrant believing that this is the case. And when you go to Romans 1:20, which is for the things of God and the hiddenness and blah, 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 and so they are without excuse, that's 120, is that basically God has written it on everybody's heart, so they are without excuse. What Eric's pointing out is that he could write, there could be something in a verse of Eric that says, and all Christians secretly know that they are full of crap, they just deny it. And so when you call in to say that atheists really know there's a God, and you can tell this by our actions, and you started with the fact that we don't commit murder, what I immediately glean from that is that you are not aware that there are good reasons to not commit murder absent belief in a God. And so you've constructed this model. We could do the same thing. We could say, I do not believe this, for the record. I want to make that clear. I was a sincere believer for 25 years, and I know people actually believe this.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was studying to be a minister. I was a Southern Baptist, preached the word, blah, blah, blah. There are people who sincerely believe, but I could hold the position that none of those people actually believe, that what they really believe is something Dan Dennett pointed out, which is they believe in belief. They believe in the value of proclaiming their belief. They believe in the value of the community. They believe in the value of putting forward these values. And so they don't actually believe that there's a God. They just believe that it's important for them to act as if they believe. And I can actually, and this is the really scary thing, go to the Bible to back up that position. Because, you know, there are many who call me Lord, Lord, who I don't know. And we all know that, you know, even when I was in church, we knew that not only were other churches not actually in the Spirit, but we knew there were people sitting next to us in the pew that weren't. And I could argue that if you extend that analogy, it could work right down to you. If I have no way of telling who is or isn't a true believer, and I thought I was a believer and now I'm not, and I think maybe this person over here isn't, there's no way to show that anybody's a true believer, just like there's no way to show that I'm hungry. And so all of it becomes an exercise of faith, and not just faith as confidence, but faith in the Hebrews 11:1 sense of faith being the evidence for things hoped for and things unseen.
Well, let me ask you a question then. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I mean, it kind of goes back to what I was thinking one day about why there's so many different Christian sects if the message is considered. I mean, I get it. I understand all that.
Over 1,000.
Yeah, thousands of different sects and Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons.
By the way, as we're all standing up and being counted here, I was a born-again Christian, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what I am. But then you have the problem of now we, you know, back to that Romans 1:20.
Yeah.
You know, we look at creation. I mean, it's true, though. I mean, you look around, there's so much complexity in the world.
But complexity doesn't tell you anything about design.
And hold on.
It just happened by itself.
Okay, John.
Nobody says it happens by itself, and complexity isn't a hallmark of design.
And did that argument, is that what convinced you, John? Because I can sit down with you for 10 minutes. No, bullshit. Hold on a second. Hold on. Are you telling me that somebody said, look at the trees, and you went, oh, shit, I'm a Christian now? That's what got you?
It's not just one thing, though.
So I mean, because if I address that...
table that has many stands that it stands on. It's just not one thing. That's one major thing, though, I will say.
Okay, so
you look at the world.
You and I can sit down, and we can actually go over why there's complexity in the world. And there's not a supernatural necessity. What was it, Laplace, who famously went to Napoleon after having published...
That probably didn't happen, but yes, that's the...
Okay, well, I like the story, so we're going to use it.
It's got to be true, right?
What's that?
Well, it's in the book.
Nothing else would explain it to make sense, so why should I believe that, you know, I mean, God is a perfect explanation.
No. Hang on. I'm trying. I want to make sure I understand this. You're saying that because we don't have another explanation for the origin of the universe, that you might as well just accept that it's God?
Because it's the best explanation on the table.
Okay, but is it actually an explanation?
The best explanation
because
on
explanations,
the table?
explanations are offerings that say, we're going to take something we don't understand, and we are going to increase our understanding of how it came to be by appealing to things we do understand. We explain the unknown in terms of the known. God has no explanatory power. It's essentially the equivalent of saying it's magic.
Yeah, it's magic, Irish, and there's no way that you can prove that to me, that you saw Jesus in an apparition in a holy shrine here in Ireland. So believe me, Jesus, you can't prove that to me. You know how many people are in insane asylums? The crazy house, the nut house? You know how many people have been committed to insane asylums by family members or the community? People who do not want to go there, but are forced there because everyone around them realize they're crazy and they're seeing shit and they're hearing voices and they're talking to people that aren't there. In any other situation, you would be labeled schizophrenic. You would be classified as delusional, having some sort of mental illness because you saw an apparition. My friend, that is crazy and ludicrous, and it doesn't matter what you see. You cannot prove it to me. Prove to me that you saw Jesus, and then prove to me that Jesus is God. You can't. So there is no reason to say, oh, it's real and you have to believe. You can't do it. There's nothing you can do to prove Jesus or God at all. Yeah, and people see UFOs and shit all the time too. People see the fucking Loch Ness Monster, and people see Bigfoot, and goddamn the abominable snowman. You gonna believe them people? When you go to Tennessee and you talk to Jimbo Bob, he tells you he was out there in the woods cooking up some moonshine, and he heard a rustling and a bustling, and he turned around and he did too see a 12-foot tall Sasquatch. You won't believe that shit because you need proof. The same way I won't believe your apparition of Jesus in a shrine because I ain't got no proof for that shit. And you know what? You can't prove it. Yeah, and thousands of people have seen aliens in crop circles and little green men from Mars and all kind of shit. And millions of people have had near-death experiences and encounters with the supernatural and ghouls, ghosts, and goblins, creatures of the night, and witches. You know, back in the day, they used to burn women alive at the stake if someone accused them of being a witch. No proof. No way to prove it. You know why? Because witches don't really exist and people can't cast spells and turn you into a newt. You can't prove such things as witchcraft. But just because some people believed it, they would burn women alive. And you know who did that? Good Christian folk. Good Bible reading, God fearing Christian folk did that. Motherfuckers is crazy, man. I know God is real. I seen his apparition in a holy shrine in Ireland. Ain't Jesus from... Ain't that motherfucker from the Middle East somewhere? Ain't he from like Iraq? Iran is Babylon. No? Oh. But he all the way in Ireland though. You think some Middle Eastern god is gonna travel all the way to Ireland to talk to your Irish ass? Or he gonna travel all the way to America to talk to some Indians? Or travel all the way to South America and talk to them people? No. Oh, he can do it because he was an apparition. Oh. Motherfucker say, I know what I saw. I saw the eyes of Christ crying for the sins of mankind. He was crying tears of blood. Oh, y'all motherfuckers crazy. Looney Tunes. Especially Revelation. That crazy motherfucker. I'm surprised I ain't banned his ass from my stream yet. That fool crazy. Oh, I'm not being ignorant. I'm not being ignorant. Being extremely sarcastic. Yes. But trust me, bro. I'm probably more informed about the Bible than you are, dude. And this is the thing that get me. Most Bible thumpers don't really read the Bible. And it took me fucking years to figure that shit out. You know why it took me so long to figure it out? Because I sat down and I read the Bible. And as I was reading it, I started asking other people questions about the Bible. And they had to confess that they never read it. And I'm like, what? But you go to church every Sunday. I thought, like, yeah, I never read. I just read what the pastor tells us to read. Whatever 2 scriptures we need to read for that day. And that's all I read. You've been reading the same fucking 14 scriptures for 14 years. He ain't gonna teach no other parts of the Bible. And so as I read the Bible myself, it was a harsh realization that most people who believe in the Bible don't read the Bible. How you believe, but not read? It seems like an oxymoron. It's a contradiction in itself. You have no idea what this book says, but you wholeheartedly believe it, preach it, and propagate it. Amazing. Amazing. Had a friend right now, man, smart, just as smart can be. And started talking about the Bible, and I said, well, what about this part? And she said, that ain't in the Bible. Yes, it is. Well, I don't really read the Bible. And she had to confess. Start throwing that shit out. Start throwing some parts of the nasty parts of the Bible that your preacher don't want you to read. That they don't want to bring up in the church sermon because it's too harsh and graphic and it's immoral, and people won't believe that shit is actually written in the Bible. You bring up them verses, people are like, I never read that part. You ain't never read no parts, man. You just skim over the 1 or 2 verses. Today the lesson is gonna come from Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, 11 through the 14th verse, and that's all you get, man. Today's lesson is going to come from Romans. Today's lesson is from John 3:16. Today's lesson we will be pulling from Leviticus. And we're going to read Leviticus chapter 1, verses 8 through 11. Bitch, that's 3 verses. Didn't you read them same 3 verses last Easter Sunday? Man, get the fuck out of here. I'm not learning shit in this church. I'm not learning a thing here. I can't talk to stupid, ignorant people like you. And then they continue to talk. Now, isn't that stupid and ignorant? I don't even know why you just set yourself up for the downfall, homie. Like, I can't talk to stupid, ignorant people like you. I'm just going to continue talking. You know why? Because I know what I seen. I don't care if you believe it or not. I thought you just said you can't talk to people who are stupid and ignorant like me, but you're continuing to talk, which makes you look stupid and ignorant. I'm just pointing out the obvious here. It's so hard and tragic when I have to point out the obvious, but sometimes it just has to be done. That you just made several idiotic comments in a row. In a row. You actually need this in your life right now. This is the most entertainment you have had in a long time. I'm glad that I can provide that for you. And that is the service that I'm here for. And undoubtedly, you must have some doubts and questions of your own belief in what you saw, because you wouldn't try to fight so hard to make me believe. You wouldn't get so butthurt because I don't believe. You don't believe me? Fuck you, you stupid, ignorant. He's just one keystroke shy of calling me a racist name. Stupid, ignorant. Don't even know me. You don't know. You don't know. What did you do this evening? Oh, I watched this guy stream for a long time. I made a bunch of comments on his stream, but he was stupid and ignorant. And what did you watch his stream for and make so many comments for? I didn't have anything else to do. I was bored. So I started calling him names. I called him stupid and ignorant twice. I tried to tell him my story about my vision of an apparition, and he denied it. He said he didn't believe me, and he was listening to some atheist stuff. I told that fucker he's going to hell. And I told him, you can mock me all you want.
It doesn't teach us anything about how it happened. We have no way to confirm it. We have no good evidence for it. And so when we look at the universe and we say, hey, I don't know how this happened, how is it different for you to say, I'm going to believe God did it, and for me to say, I'm going to believe it was the universe creating pixies, and for Eric to just say it was magic? How do we distinguish between those three to tell which, because they're all viable for the same reason. They are all sufficient explanations for the universe, but we haven't demonstrated that any of them are necessary and sufficient or even possible. So we need a way to tell the difference between these three possible explanations: God, universe creating pixies, and magic. And we need to figure out which one of those three is more plausible.
Well, magic and pixies don't have books.
I do.
Sure they do.
Yeah, they do. Peter Pan.
And by the way,
hold on. If I pulled out a pixie book, would you believe that pixies were more likely to be real, John?
Are you going to buy into the Cottingley fairies?
Historical value as the Bible.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I feel like I want
to. What he said.
They said they have the same historical value as the Bible.
I said they don't. Did they?
That's the thing.
Well, okay. So again, how are you deciding what is true among those things? You need to actually have a tool to use.
Well, what is the Bible?
Well, I mean, you see the beauty in the world, you see the complexity, you see all that stuff.
I see all that stuff.
It looks like a mind was behind it.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, yes, it does.
That all the gods you've come up with here.
It may look like a mind was behind it, but that doesn't mean a mind was behind it. The fact that there may be the appearance of design is more about how little we understand about potential explanations than what the actual explanation is. So let me ask you a question I was asking a second ago. What is the Bible, John?
The Bible is 66 books written over thousands of years.
Sure, that's the Protestant Bible. The Catholic Bible's got other stuff, and there's the differences. But who wrote the Bible?
I mean, of course, God used the hand of man.
No. I understand that you believe that God may have inspired the authors, but did man write the Bible?
Right.
What was the purpose, or what are the potential purposes of someone writing a book of the Bible?
To convey information.
Sure. And so, let's just take Genesis, okay? And actually, we'll just start with Genesis 1, which is historically attributed to Moses, even though we have no reason to think he existed or that he wrote the book, other than the book claims that he wrote the book, but it also includes his own death. So it doesn't matter. Somebody wrote Genesis. A human being wrote Genesis. Now, there are many ways that we could argue that this person came to write Genesis. Number one, God inspired someone to write down the events in Genesis. Number two, these are stories that people told to explain things they didn't understand, that were verbal traditions that eventually became codified and written down, that weren't actually inspired by God. How do I tell the difference between something that is actually, whether Genesis was inspired by God or whether Genesis was written by people who thought they were inspired by God but weren't, or Genesis was written by people who just wanted to codify these stories and didn't even know that or think that they were being inspired by God? How do we tell the difference between those?
We can compare. There's a set of literature out there that's probably arguably just as old, if not older, that you can compare the Bible to that, and you can see the human hand on it, so to speak.
I don't. So first of all, what literature
are a lot different.
Okay, so there are other old myths. How do you tell the difference between one old myth and one old myth that's actually true and inspired by God? How do you tell the difference?
Well, the Bible the Bible is more consistent with science.
No.
You look at the Genesis story.
The Genesis story is absolutely not. The Genesis story is absolutely not consistent with science. The order of creation events does not match what we know to be the order of events from science.
Not only that, but the way that humanity came about has nothing to do with the Garden of Eden in the Bible. So tell me how that is consistent.
But I'm just saying.
I can say that, John. I don't just need to say that. I can point you to school. Go to school and open a book about
that's
it.
what I'm asking for. That's why I'm calling here. I want to see, I wanted to kind of, anybody can be bigger on claims, but you got to have evidence to back it up.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
yes.
So that's the thing, John.
You can't just
That's the
sit there.
thing, John.
This is the whole thing I wanted to.
This is the thing, John, is that the evidence is not on your side. You keep making claims.
I disagree.
You've made claims that are demonstrably false. You say that the order of creation events in Genesis matches up with what science says. Did you not say that?
Yeah, and they are.
No, they don't, actually. So if you go to talkorigins.org to index.cc, or index.cc, what you'll find is an index to creationist claims. And among that...
What was that website again? Say again, because I'm going to go.
I'm going to tell you, talkorigins.org, okay? You can go and reference this here, but there's an index to creationist claims, one of them CB100. I'm pulling it up right now. That's on genetics. But in any case, it goes verse by verse through Genesis to show that the order of events, doesn't match up with science. For example, creating light before stars. So if you go through the order of events, it does not match up with what we know to be the case in science.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
I
I'm going to have to go there and look. I'll have to go take a look. I'll take your word for it.
Well, you don't have to take my word for it.
You just for now. But if it doesn't add up, I'll call back and call you on it.
Call back. I'd be happy to talk to you about it.
Damn it.
And I mean, yeah, dude, I appreciate that you're going to look into it. Don't take us on faith. Do the research. And on top of that, I would really want to see, because here's the thing, when we get to learn things about the world, we start by saying, I don't know, and I want to know, and then we investigate. What we don't do is we don't work backward from an ancient book written by Bronze Age goat herders over the last 2,000 plus years.
But that doesn't mean the goat herders can be wrong. This is the thing is.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys weren't goat herders. I mean, people, if you really do your...
It doesn't, that's irrelevant. That's an ad hominem. The point is, how do you tell the difference between Genesis being inspired by God and Genesis being man's stories that people believe were inspired by God? How do you tell the difference? And one of the things that you said was, well, we can go back and compare it to other myths, and you can see whether or not there's man's hand in it. The thing is, for people who actually can study this, I see man's hand in all of it. I see the absurdity of claiming that we were all descendants of two actual physical people, one man, one woman, who were in a perfect garden, who were deceived by a serpent, who ate a fruit of a tree that gave them the knowledge of good and evil, and that they were banished from the garden, and this brought sin and death in the world. None of this is consistent with science. This is absolute myth. But when you talk about the order of creation events, in the book of Genesis, and I'm taking this straight from Talk Origins, which you can go look up as well. In the book of Genesis, there are 10 major events in this order. A beginning, a primitive earth and darkness. That's number 2. 3 is light. 4 is an expanse of an atmosphere. 5 is the large areas of dry land. 6 is plants. 7 is the sun, moon, and stars. 8 is sea monsters and flying creatures. 9 is wild and tame beasts and mammals. And 10 is man. But the real order of event, after I turn off my alarm to tell me it's time for the atheist experience, the real order of events is a beginning, then light, then the sun and stars, then the primitive earth, moon, and the atmosphere, then dry land, then sea creatures, then some land plants, then land creatures and more, then flying creatures and insects, and then mammals, which includes, well, then it goes on to first birds and then fruiting plants, and then man and other animals. So the order is not accurate.
Gotcha. Now, it does take light a long time to get to be visible. I mean, you got to keep that in mind. But I'll take a look at that. I mean, I'll see what you're talking about and give it a shot. Like I said before, I'm an open-minded guy. Now, I am a born-again Christian. I believe the Bible is literal. But, I want the truth.
I'm going to throw a wrench into this.
I've watched your show a few times, and a few things kind of pissed me off there, what you said. But, I wanted to call in and at least be man enough to...
No, I appreciate that.
But with you.
I'm going to throw a wrench into this because here's the more important thing. What if the Genesis account had gotten the order exactly right, such that when we found out through science what the order was, it exactly lined up? What?
Well, I'd see that was very compelling evidence.
Evidence of what?
Of God authorship. Back then, they didn't know nothing about that stuff.
Okay, the fact that somebody got something right doesn't tell you how they got it right. How did you rule out a lucky guess? How did you rule out the same sort of loose inference that led to the eventual discovery by science? How did you rule out time machines? How did you rule out some other method by which they could have come by this information? The thing is, the fact that somebody got something right does not tell you how or why they got it right. Now, I understand that it might seem plausible to people to say, wow, these people couldn't have known this, and the best explanation is that there's a God. The problem is that God isn't a candidate explanation until you demonstrate that God should be a candidate explanation. And then once it is there, once it becomes a candidate explanation, you still have to draw a causal link. So if I also perform magic and mentalism, and I will make predictions and read people's minds. I can tell you I'm not actually making predictions, and I'm not actually reading people's minds in any supernatural sense, but I can give the appearance of that. So if I put a prediction in an envelope and set up a scenario that you are convinced that is completely fair, where you have a free choice, and you make a choice, and my prediction matches, what does that tell you about my prediction?
Right, I get your point.
Did God tell me?
Those are good questions. I never thought about a lot of these things.
It's one of the, and neither did I, by the way, for the 25 plus years that I was a believer, where I also thought I was a skeptic, where I understood I was doing magic back then too, and it didn't occur to me that the fact that two things, and this you'll get because you mentioned this earlier, when you talked about MRI scans correlating with the experience of having thoughts. That correlation isn't causation, and so the fact that somebody might have got the order right doesn't necessarily tell you how they got it right. But when you get past that to the point that they got the order wrong, how likely is it that God could have incorrectly inspired someone? How likely is it that God could have gotten the order wrong? How likely is it that God was okay?
This dude's still in here. You know what science knows? Science knows how to allow you to communicate over vast distances through an electronic device and hear my voice and see my face as I play the sound and audio, the sound and video from other people on another side of the world through my audio devices. And science has figured shit out like that pretty good. So science knows a lot of shit. Science knows a lot of shit. We figure out a lot of stuff with the process of science. But the one thing science isn't afraid to do, it's not afraid to say, well, we don't know. Well, what happened before the Big Bang? Well, we don't know. Well, what is string theory? We're not really sure yet. Well, how does quantum mechanics and quantum levitation, quantum locking, and we don't know how all that stuff works. We're trying to figure it out. But see, religious people say, we know everything. Well, how do you know everything? Because the Bible told us. The Bible told you everything? Yes. The Bible is the answer for everything. Well, I got locked out of my Google account. Is there anything in the Bible that can help me reset my password from my Google account? Oh, well, we don't know stuff like that. We only know everything from 2,000 years ago. So you're not advancing the Bible, like adding new stuff to it, because we keep learning. The Bible is complete. You don't have to add more to the Bible, because we know everything. What the fuck does science know? Science doesn't know any fucking thing at all, except that we almost got hit by a meteorite, because we were tracking that in space using satellites and telescopes through science. Wuhan coronavirus COVID-19, that's a global pandemic. And you know what people want? They want scientists to come up with a vaccination to help people. They don't want churches to pray to God to get rid of COVID-19. Because if God was real and God could really get rid of stuff like that, then everyone would just stop and say, okay, let's pray to God and it'll go away. No, you know what they do? They say, scientists, use your science to help us. What the fuck do you know, scientists, except making vaccines? Fuck the science now. You're trying to make me look like I'm some. I'm not trying to make you look any type of way. You know why? Because nobody can fucking see you right now, bro. Nobody can see you. How am I trying to make you look any type of way? You are ignorant. I'm not just being like, superfluous right now. I'm being literal in the most absolute literal sense. Your comments, and you're typing this so you have time to think about what you're going to type before you send it. You have time to read and edit your comment before you hit the send button, but you don't. And your comments are consistently nonsensical. You just don't make sense, bro. And I'm not feeling terrible about pointing that out at all. I think somebody has to show you that you're not a critical thinker, or you're not as critical of a thinker as you think you are. I know that may hurt your feelings a little bit because you're Irish. But how about you just hold your comments for a little while? I could have blocked you a long time ago, but I didn't, because this is entertaining to me. I run into people like you all the time, and they never win, and that's the fun part about it. I'm like 103-0. Like, I don't lose this shit. You know why I don't lose? Because it's my stream. I have control over this shit. And so, you guys come in here while I'm trying to listen to the atheist experience and understand the arguments of a theist to the best of my ability, because I'm just trying to educate myself. And then you guys come in here and get all butthurt and emotional because people call you crazy because you see shit. You know what I'm saying? The old crackhead on your block, that motherfucker say he saw Elvis Presley. You believe him? No? Why not? Because he ain't got no proof, right? Exactly. Same reason I don't believe your dumb ass. I ain't meant to call you dumb. I meant to call you stupid. It ain't your fault. You can't help that your parents were cousins. You can't help that your parents were cousins. They ain't know no better. They did know better. They just absolutely did not fucking care, bro. They did not care in the slightest. At all. That shit be like that sometimes. Hey, motherfuckers get dealt a rough hand sometimes. You either gonna play with the cards you were dealt, find a way to cheat the dealer, nigga. I don't know what else to tell you, bro. Cheat the dealer. You ain't got an ace up your sleeve? Well, you need to cuff one. Cause your argument's weak. Like 7 days. Weak ass arguments. With Zeke? Weak. Really, really weak. This dude's argument is so weak. His argument is so weak, he had to call me a name. Yo, blunt mover. You just love it, and you love my stream, bro. Thanks for being in here. Thanks for all the comments. This does add towards my popularity. It adds to my popularity. And yes, I love to run my mouth. That's what all entertainers do. Well, most entertainers, for the most part. We just run our mouths, bro. We're good at it. We have the gift of gab. That's why I'm a streamer, and you're not. You get it? You're probably not good at just running your mouth, saying random stuff, and still making it sound entertaining. Do you realize how hard this is to do? Huh? You know how hard it is to keep your monkey ass entertained. Let me explain, bro. People who absolutely do not agree with me, I have to be charismatic enough to even hold your attention for longer than 20 minutes. You know how hard it is to hold somebody's attention longer than 5 minutes? The American attention span is short as shit nowadays, bro. You know what I'm saying? 2-3 minutes, we're done. We're done with shit. 10 minutes, we about to fall the fuck asleep because we're so bored. 15 to 20 minutes, man, that shit is damn near impossible to hold somebody attention for that amount of time unless you have some valuable information and you are a charismatic presenter of this information. I got you covered, bro. I got you covered like a blanket. You know what I'm saying? And don't go no way. You might learn something. The best thing to do is call your cousin and your mom into the room and tell them to sit down and take some notes with you. Because your arguments is weak or wizzy. You need some backup. You need a lifeline. Call for some help. Mama! Mom! This guy on TV talking shit about me. And God. I told him I was Irish. He said he didn't care. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. You just like to run your mouth. Duh. It's obvious. Thanks, Captain Obvious. No one would have ever figured that shit out. At all. You know? Travis? Oh, he's so quiet. He's not a really big talker. This nigga don't know me. I was at work one time. True story. Just talking about, we were just having a random conversation at lunch, and somehow I started talking about, telling these stories about how I tortured animals when I was a kid. Just got way out of hand, went way south really fast, and I was just like, I talk too much sometimes. So if you work in an office and you have a community cafeteria, don't talk about killing animals while other people are eating. It doesn't go over very well. Talk about something else nice, like things like not killing animals. You know, everybody can't be the Tiger King. But I can be the kitten killer. Ooh, come here, pussy. I'm about to slay you. That had a double meaning for people who didn't catch it. The Tiger King or the kitten killer. I'm so fucking smart and fast on my feet, yo. I amaze myself sometimes. But if I would have said that shit in a freestyle and made it rhyme with some hard shit like Kitten Killer and like Margaret Miller or some shit like that, would have been crazy. Would have hit that bar, everybody like, oh, you heard that nigga, yo! I miss those days. I miss that freestyle fame, bruh. Freestyle fame. I still got clout. I got and nobody's young boys anymore because I'm old as fuck now, but you know, some of my younger cats, they still shout me out like, yo T Prince, motherfucker who taught me how to rap, yo, taught me how to freestyle. Like, yeah, bro, I was out there schooling niggas on this shit, son. Schooling them. I mean, one of my mans, he freestyling like, yo, need to write some shit. Nigga ain't never wrote. I made him write some shit. He's like, yo, how you count your bars? Like, damn, bro, you don't know how to count bars? Let's put this Rakim shit on, man. You gotta understand this shit, dude. Like, dude, you ain't no real MC, bro. You can't even put together a 16, nigga. Calm down. Calm down. Let me teach y'all. Some shit real quick. Art and education. I've been educating niggas since way back. Oh, son, that's how you count bars. Yo, I never knew that shit. Yeah, obviously you didn't, bro. That's why your shit was whack, nigga. Now you can throw together a quick 8 or a full 16 or one of them long 32s, nigga, and blow niggas' minds. Yo, this nigga just spit a 32. Yo, he spit 32. Not the waffle, man. I'm not trying to put you. I did try to put you down a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. But you come here talking about you don't know what you talking about. I saw this and I saw that, and you're wrong and you're going to hell. Like, bruh, don't come at me like that. It's cool you saw some shit. I get it. And then, like I said in the beginning, it doesn't matter what you saw. There is no way for you to prove it to me in order for you to convince me that what you saw was real. That's not trying to put you down or come at you no kind of way. That's just a fact. I believe I saw an unidentified flying object. Am I going to say a spaceship or some shit like that? No. I saw some shit in the sky one time. Yes. If I tell you about it, does that automatically mean you have to believe me and then believe in the UFO conspiracy and cover up and extraterrestrials and Centauri and all this stuff? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And just because you tell me a story about you saw something at a holy shrine, that doesn't mean I have to believe in Jesus and God and the resurrection and revelation. I don't have to go all that far just because you tell me something you saw. And then you stick around this whole time with your butt hurting, your anus just dripping sweat, trying to get me to concede or apologize. I don't know what the fuck you trying to do, really. Looking for some sympathy, some empathy, some sexual healing. I don't know what you want over this way, bruh. Ain't nothing but art and education. We got solid facts. We got generalized statements and strong ass opinions. So watch your step, man. This ain't the forum for everybody. You know? This is the proving grounds, baby. Don't come up in here half stepping talking about I know some shit or I seen some. Prove it to me. Huh? What? Email me a picture. Let me see that shit, bro. You saw what now? Jesus crying. An apparition. Oh man, you should have been on Mythbusters. Are ghosts real? Next on Mythbusters. Next on Ghost Hunters. This haunted house in Tennessee. Man, screw all that. All that nonsense. You think you the only person don't like me for speaking like this? Shit. And then like 30 comments ago, he said, I can't talk to people like you. This motherfucker still been talking the whole time. I love it. I love the fact that you stuck around, bro. Even though you almost left. I bet he was like, fuck this guy. But I'm going to wait until he read my comment and make sure he sees what the fuck I said. Oh, he did read my comment. Well, I'm going to say something else real quick before I leave. And then I'm going to ban it. Wait a minute. I'm going to just stay here a little bit longer. You know, an hour later. This nigga my best friend now. When I come to Ireland, my dude, I'm sleeping on your fucking couch. I'm not getting a hotel room, bro. Oh, you got a guest bedroom? I don't want it. I still want to sleep on your couch. That'd be weird though, right? Like, yeah, we got this guest bedroom set up for you. You got your own bathroom right here. Like, nah, where's the couch at? Yeah, but you got a bedroom with a bed and a closet, and you have your own bathroom, and it looks onto the back patio. Nah, I'm good. I'm used to sleeping on couches. Ooh, you got a leather couch. I'm gonna sweat the hell out this shit tonight. It's my favorite thing in the world. It's going to sleep on a hot leather couch, naked, rolling over, hearing that slippery, sticky, wet sweat sound. Love that shit. It's my pleasures. It's one of my great pleasures in the world. Only other pleasure I love more than that is inviting Jehovah's Witnesses into my house for tea and conversation. Hi, have you ever heard of Jehovah? Yeah, come on in, motherfuckers. We about to get it popping right now. Break open them study books, bitch. Hope you got some notes. You don't mind if I smoke, do you? Good. Now, First Thessalonians. Sorry, let me stop. But I do like talking to the Jehovah's Witnesses. I find it funny because I ask about the Nicene Council, and they say the what? The Nicene Council in 325 AD. When? Oh, you don't do research like that? Ooh, sorry guys. Well, I have some notes for you, so you can go ask your preacher to give you some good study guides, so you can know the historicity of your Bible. Because if you don't know about the Nicene Council of 325 AD, you're basically lost, bro. You're a lost little bird. Fell out the nest, trying to flap his wings in the darkness. You know? No one's coming to save you, dude. No mama bird is coming to swoop down and pick you up and drag you back to the safety of the nest. Once you fall out that nest, dude, you're on your fucking own. You're all on your own. That's right, I said it. No help. Gotta do it for yourself. Alright guys, got a little bit done across the back here. How long you been here? 2 hours. Toodaloo. So, working on the shadow here from those books falling across the midsection of the separating part from the bookshelves. This book right here actually had a little face on it, so painted a little small face there. And I think this is a Van Gogh book, so has kind of like some Starry Night kind of stuff going on there. So like I say, guys, this is going to be a really, really boring part until I start actually adding letters to the books. We're just doing this, straightening up some lines, intensifying the colors, and getting the values and shades right, adding some shadows. And once we do that, then the next time we come around the books, we'll start letters to the covers. So what I'm going to do now is going to clean up a little bit. I'm going to clean up. I gotta wash my brushes. I'm gonna... Alright. Irishman, you still up in here, bro? We still cool, right? You'll be back. You'll be alright. Once, I saw a purple elephant. Prove it. Show me the picture. Cause I seen King Kong and Godzilla fighting one time. Yo, that shit was crazy, son. Godzilla started blowing electric fire breath, and then King Kong was beating on his chest, and he shit in his hand, and he threw a handful of shit in Godzilla's eyes, man. And Godzilla just licked that shit off because he a lizard, right? But I mean, you gotta believe me. Cause I saw that shit, yo. You gotta believe me. Oh, you don't? Why you don't believe me? I know what I saw, dude. Y'all ain't gotta believe me. I was there when I saw it. You know? It really happened. King Kong, Godzilla, scat fight to the death. I mean, shit flying, scales a flailing, gorilla fur everywhere. When I say fur everywhere, I mean that shit was coming out my wazoo. I had some video footage of it, but my phone had got broken in all the excitement and chaos, and I don't have that footage anymore. But I did. I saw everything that was going on. Wow, man, it was crazy. And then out of nowhere, like during the middle of the fight, like this big ass purple elephant just walked across the field. I don't know what the fuck. Where the fuck that shit came from? Then there was a Pegasus and a unicorn, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Hercules, Jesus Christ, and Thor. All walked into a bar. I know, cause I was the bartender. And I'm like, damn, what the fuck are y'all doing here? You got to believe me, cause I'm telling you what I saw, so you gotta believe me. And then out of nowhere, yo, I saw this apparition of Jesus. I was at this holy shrine. That's how I know God and Jesus the same person. I saw an apparition of him at a holy shrine with my own eyes. I was there when I saw it. If you would have been there, with me, you would have believed it too. Because you would have seen the same thing that I seen. And then both of us would have seen the same thing. And then we could corroborate our stories. All right. Who's a master painter? Trap House is. Who's a master painter? Trap House is. Shit looking good? Yes, it is. Got a new friend. His name is Irishman. So now I'm gonna go eat some leftovers and play video games for the rest of the night. Play video games for the rest of the night. I can see. Goddamn, shit's crazy. This has been a long after work stream, bro. What time is it? Bro, it's 8 o'clock, nigga. Yo, the daylight that's what be getting me, yo. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Y'all be thinking like, oh, it's like 6:30. It might be like 6:30. Bro, it's 8 o'clock. Look how bright it is. It's 8 o'clock at night, bro. The sun is still right there. 8 o'clock at night. The sky is still blue as shit. You can clearly see my yard, like, it ain't even dark at all. I'm looking out the window like, oh, it can't be that late. I feel hungry, but it's not dark out yet, so I'm good, right? It's not late. Bro, it's 8 o'clock already. Why ain't nobody say that shit? Yo, Trap. Yo, Trap. I know you having fun with the stream, bro. But you know it's like 8 o'clock, right? Yo, that shit just fucked my head up a little bit. It's 8 o'clock. Hey. In here fucking with this Irish dude. I ain't gonna leave you alone now. You on my hit list. Damn it, bro. I was just about to get on the game. This nigga said I was already on that shit for several hours. Now who I'm gonna play video games with? What Irish man? Irish over. Irish over 69. You left, dude. You're gone. Oh, so sad. So sad. No El Muerto. Appreciate you coming in the stream. I don't know if you're a new viewer, but definitely subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification buttons. For everybody else, appreciate y'all chilling in the stream with me for a little while, checking out the progress on these portraits in the art studio with some art and education. That's about it. I guess I'll be in here tomorrow evening after work, working on these books on this thing. Oh, this piece right here, it's done. It's just not dry. That black, I swear, yo, that black paint takes a long ass time to dry. And since the canvas was white and I had to paint black over the white, like over white paint, that shit was kind of hard. So I did lay the black paint kind of thick on there to make sure I covered up the white really good. So I tapped that shit yesterday. It was still pulling paint off of it. I haven't even touched it today. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll touch it again on Friday. I'll tap it in a couple spaces on Friday to see if it's dry. And if it is, we'll go ahead and varnish it Friday. And I can ship it out Monday or Tuesday of next week. But that is if it's dry, you know. So I have that painting to ship out. I have another older painting that I'm gonna give to a friend. I'm gonna ship that out as well. I have another commission piece that is on the table coming up soon. Doing a doing a religious painting, believe it or not, a painting of Jesus. How ironic. But whatever. So look out for that one. Once again, that's going to be a paid commission, so it may have me to pull this off the easel to put the commission up there, because you know the commissions come first. Got to make them bucks. But yeah, you guys are excellent. Once again, appreciate y'all chilling with me in the studio, keeping me company. Peace. Till next time. I gotta use controller to turn it off. I can't turn it off with my phone.